Family Guy is the king of offensive humor, but some countries are not laughing at all. In fact, they have made it a crime to even broadcast the show within their borders. Everyone is obsessed with the drama, and that is putting it lightly. The crazy part is that one country did not even care about the jokes until the show started talking about their actual cities. What most people do not realize is how much power a 20-minute cartoon can have over world politics. Here are the 5 countries that officially banned Family Guy for reasons you won't believe. The biggest drama for this show recently happened in a place called Chelyabinsk. This is a city in Russia that most people in the United States had never heard of until the show decided to visit it in an episode. In the 21st season finale, the Griffin family travels to this town and the writers did not hold back. They showed the city as a total mess filled with people who were always grumpy and struggling with substance issues. The episode even had a song about how the town was falling apart and covered in radiation. This was not just a small joke, it was a full-on roast of a real place where over 1 million people live. But here's the catch. The people in Chelyabinsk did not find it funny at all. A high-ranking official named Yana Latratova spoke out and called the episode a form of information welfare. She said the show was trying to make their city look bad on purpose to hurt the image of the country. She even asked for the show to be banned because it was so offensive to the citizens. Imagine a city official getting that upset over a cartoon about a talking dog. It shows just how much weight these jokes carry in other parts of the world. In the United States, we are used to the show making fun of cities like Pawtucket or even New York, but in Russia, the government is much more protective. The crazy part is that Russia has always had a rocky relationship with Western media. They have their own style of satire, but when an American show pokes fun at them during a time of global tension, it turns into a massive scandal. The show depicted the town as being stuck in the past, with crumbling buildings and very low standards of living. For a city that is actually a major industrial hub, this felt like a slap in the face. Even though a total national ban did not happen overnight, the pressure was huge. This incident proved that Family Guy is still capable of making world leaders angry even after being on the air for over 20 years. What most people do not realize is that this was not the first time the show got into trouble for how it showed other cultures. The writers often use stereotypes to make a point, but those stereotypes can feel like a personal attack when you are the one being mocked. In this case, the tension was so high that the people were calling for the show to be erased from Russian streaming sites forever. It is not that simple though, because the show has a huge underground fan base in Russia who love the humor. This creates a weird situation where the government hates it, but the younger people are still finding ways to watch it. The drama in Chelyabinsk is a perfect example of how the show operates. It finds a target, hits it as hard as possible, and then waits for the explosion. In this case, the explosion was a potential ban that could have cost the show's parent company a lot of money in that market. But for Seth MacFarlane and his team, this kind of news is exactly what they want. It keeps the show relevant and proves that they are still the edgy kids on the block. However, as the world changes, the lines for what is allowed are moving and Russia is drawing a very thick line. This level of outrage makes you wonder if any place is truly safe from the writers' pens. Egypt has a very different reason for keeping the Griffins off their screen. In this part of the world, religion is the most important thing in society, and Family Guy is famous for making fun of every faith on earth. For starters, the country has a censorship board that looks at every single frame of a show before it can be aired. They found that Family Guy was constantly crossing the line when it came to religious figures and moral standards. In a country that is mostly Muslim, showing things that could be seen as blasphemy is a huge no-no. And get this, the show does not just target one religion. It pokes fun at Christianity and Judaism too. But in Egypt, any disrespect toward the divine is enough to get a show cancelled for good. There was an episode where the show reimagined the story of a very sacred birth with modern, crude jokes. For a conservative viewer in Cairo, this was not comedy. It was a direct insult to their most deeply held beliefs. The government felt that allowing the show to air would hurt the moral fabric of the country and cause unrest among the people. It is not just about religion though. Egypt also has very strict rules about what they call moral indecency. This includes the show's frequent jokes about mature topics and its use of violence. While an American teenager might think a scene of Peter fighting a giant chicken for 10 minutes is hilarious, an Egyptian censor might see it as an unnecessary cruelty. The show's habit of showing characters in revealing situations or talking about intimate details is also a major reason for the ban. Basically, the show is the exact opposite of what the Egyptian government wants its citizens to see as good entertainment. The crazy part is how the ban is actually enforced. While you cannot find Family Guy on regular cable TV in Egypt, the internet has changed the game. Many people use special tools to hide their location so they can still watch the Griffins on streaming sites. This creates a gap between what the law says and what people are actually doing in their homes. But if a TV station tried to air an episode of Road to India or Turban Cowboy, they would face massive fines or even be shut down. The government wants to make sure that the public square stays clean on the Western decadence that Family Guy represents. What most people do not realize is that Egypt has banned other famous media for the same reasons. They blocked a famous book about a secret code in several Hollywood movies because they did not agree with how religion was shown. Family Guy is just one piece of a much larger puzzle of censorship in the Middle East. The show's creator has said that no group is off limits, but in Egypt, that philosophy does not fly. They believe that some things are too sacred to be used for a punchline. This clash of values is why Peter Griffin will likely never have an official home in the land of the pyramids. The tension between free speech and religious respect is a battle that the show keeps losing in this region. The global journey of the Griffins has never been a smooth ride, especially across Southeast Asia. In Malaysia, the government performs a delicate dance between modern entertainment and traditional values. Initially banned for vulgarity, the show eventually returned, but only in a heavily butchered format. Censors prune episodes so aggressively to remove references to alcohol or forbidden foods that jokes often lose their punchlines. To shield children from Peter's antics, it is relegated to a post-10 p.m. slot, creating a sanitized, late-night version of Quahog that barely resembles the original. The Philippines and Vietnam offer different hurdles. In the Philippines, deep-rooted Catholic influence means moral guardians scrutinize the show for its lack of a moral compass. If a joke is deemed too indecent, religious pressure can effectively push it off the airwaves. Meanwhile, Vietnam's centralized government views the show's constant mocking of authority as a threat to social order. Since the series thrives on satirizing police and politicians, it is frequently flagged as a bad Western influence. Despite these barriers, the show remains a household name through underground viewing, proving that the game of cat and mouse between censors and fans is alive and well. Moving north to Seoul, the Griffin effect takes a different shape. In South Korea, animation is culturally viewed as a medium for children, making Family Guy's adult themes a major shock to the system. This resulted in a strict 19+ rating, requiring viewers to verify their age before streaming. Local channels like Tooniverse originally tried to air it, but eventually gave up after heavy blurring and dialogue changes made the show unrecognizable. The core issue lies in Confucian values. A show featuring a disrespectful father and a world-dominating baby is the direct antithesis of the social respect Korea prizes. Even when the show tried to bridge the gap with its K-pop adventure in Seoul, the reception was mixed. While some enjoyed the parody, others saw it as a collection of tired stereotypes that didn't help its reputation with censors. Today, while digital platforms make the show accessible, the heavy warnings remain. These nations want to participate in the global media landscape, but they remain wary of the chaos the Griffins bring to their cultural front door. Do you think these countries are right to protect their cultures, or is it just unnecessary censorship? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the secret history of Family Guy, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more untold stories. See you in the next one.